All right, let's dive into a story that really tests the limits of what a person can endure. It's about having a dream so close you can almost touch it, and then, in a split second, watching it all get snatched away. This is the incredible story of Inky Johnson.
Wow, that quote just hits you, doesn't it? Imagine pouring your entire life into one single goal, only to see it completely vanish right at the finish line. We're gonna see how that one moment didn't end his story, it actually started a brand new one.
So to really understand the impact of what happened, you first have to understand just how high he was climbing. This wasn't just some casual hobby for him, this was his mission, an escape route he'd been working on his whole life.
I mean, this level of dedication is just staggering. It wasn't a job, it was literally his entire identity. Waking up at 4 a.m., late nights practicing, and then you find out he grew up in a tiny two-bedroom house with 14 other people. You start to realize for him, football wasn't just a game, it was the only way out.
And this one number, it says it all. He wasn't just good, he was one of the best. An NFL draft projection as a top 30 pick, that's a guaranteed multi-million-dollar contract. The dream was no longer a fantasy, it was about to become his reality. And can you imagine? This is what everyone was telling him. You did it, Inky. The sacrifice, the struggle, all those years of work, that was the hard part. Now all you gotta do is play 10 more games. Just 10 more games stood between him and everything he had ever worked for.
And then, the story takes a turn in the most brutal way you can possibly imagine. It happened on a play he'd made 1,000 times, in a game against Air Force, with just a couple of minutes left on the clock. Think about how fast this all goes down. He goes in for a standard tackle, the kind of thing he could do in his sleep. But on impact, his whole body just goes limp. He blacks out. And when he opens his eyes, his teammates are yelling at him to get up. But all he can manage to say is, "I can't move." As they're wheeling him off the field, the team doctor walking right beside him says this, "Suddenly, this isn't about a football injury anymore. This is about basic survival. He has no pulse."
So what was actually happening? It was a life-threatening emergency, a ruptured subclavian artery. It's a major artery in his chest. He was bleeding out internally, and the clock wasn't ticking on the game anymore, it was ticking on his life.
Can you even imagine hearing those words? The doctor looks him in the eye and just lays it out plain and simple. This isn't about saving your arm or your career, this is about making it through the night. Everything he had worked for since he was a little kid, it all came down to this one moment. So he survives the surgery, but when he wakes up, that NFL dream, the championship, the money, it's all gone. The identity he'd built his entire life around has just been erased. And this is where the real test begins, a challenge way tougher than any football game. And this right here, this really shows you the battle that was going on in his mind. On one side, you've got the life he planned out, clear, simple, and right there for the taking. But on the other, he felt this redirect, a pull towards something he couldn't see yet, a totally different path. And that's the question, isn't it? It's the one he had to face, and really it's a question for all of us. When things go completely off the rails, when life throws you a curveball you never saw coming, can you still have faith? Can you accept something you just don't understand?
Okay, so what does this new path even look like? Well, this is where the tragedy really starts to become a triumph, in ways that nobody, especially not Inky, could have ever predicted.
You know, when people ask him if he'd go back and change what happened, he points to this list. These are the victories that came from his loss. His own father finding a new path, 3 of his friends, all of them future NFL stars, being so moved that they changed their lives. His family growing closer than ever. You just can't put a price tag on that.
And at the end of the day, his biggest impact wasn't about what he said, it was about how he lived through it all. People saw how he responded to the worst moment of his life, and that's what connected with them. He became a living, breathing sermon on resilience.
And that brings us right back to the core message of this whole story. It's all about how we choose to respond when life hits us with its most powerful shot.
And I just want to leave you with this final thought. It's pretty easy to be grateful and have faith when things are going your way, right? When the answers are all yes. But the true measure of who you are, the real test, is what you do when the answer is no.
If you were inspired by this video, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Be Thankful. Feel free to share this video as well. Thank you, and God bless.